just like that we've done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll look into that.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Lexington Planning Commission meeting. This is our normal. Sorry, Mike wasn't on. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Town of Lexington Planning Commission meeting. This is our normal monthly meeting being held at Town Hall at 8 a.m. Wednesday, March 22nd, 2023. This meeting is being broadcast live on the Town of Lexington YouTube channel and also will be available for viewing on the Town Information Cable Channel 1301. Speakers are asked to sign in the sign-in sheet, identify yourself and your address, and please speak into the microphone. I am Frank Berry, the chairman of the Town of Lexington Planning Commission. Other planning commission present are.
Good morning, Jarrett Harrelson.
Good morning, Sammy Hendricks.
Good morning, I'm Brian Amick.
Good morning, Roscoe Kaufman.
Good morning, Jeannie Michaels.
Good morning, I'm Jamie Fight.
Good morning, Joe Robertson.
Good morning, I'm Brett Poole.
Good morning, I'm Brad Cunningham, town attorney.
At this time, I will ask Ms. Michaels if she'd give us our invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come to you and ask you for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussions. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of our community. In your son's name, amen.
At this time, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The meeting will now come to order. You have before you you all have your packets. There's no deletions to the agenda, no additions to the agenda. Do I have an approval of the minutes?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. No public presentation, no old business, new business. Appeal of an administrative decision related to addressing at 105 West Main Street. John?
Good morning. This item is a little different than things you have had in front of you before because we don't have this issue come up very often, but the South Carolina Comprehensive Planning Act places addressing and street naming as an authority under the Planning Commission. So the town received an appeal of an administrative decision related to the assigned addresses for a new building being constructed at 105 West Main Street. Mr. Craig Otto submitted an appeal requesting a change to the suite addresses for the suites inside of the Ice House on Main building. Town staff assigns addresses in coordination with the Lexington County 911 office. The 911 office has no preference on whether suites are assigned numerical or alphabetical addresses if they are consistent with nearby buildings. Staff assigned alphabetic addresses to the 4 suites in the building consistent with how they were identified on the building plans and consistent with how surrounding buildings are addressed. Since the addresses were assigned over a year ago, they have been disseminated to Lexington County Emergency Services and the United States Postal Service. They've also been used by the Town of Lexington Utilities Department and Dominion Energy to identify the utility meters for each suite. Mr. Otto is requesting to change the suite addresses to a numerical system that identifies the first floor units with a 100 address and the second floor suites with a 200 address. And Mr. Otto is here to state his case.
All right. Mr. Otto?
Thank you very much. Good morning. I'm Craig Otto. I'm the architect of the project. I'm also one of the partners in the ownership of the project. So I've never been involved in the development of a 2-story building before, and certainly, well, as far as being an ownership in it, and certainly not ever with the addressing of a project, especially 2 stories. The interesting thing about the way that we ended up with the ABCD is because when we designed the building many months ago, about a year and a half ago, we had you have to somehow delineate who's who, so we assigned A, B, C, D to these different suites, including, and then the electrical engineer who we had designed the electrical had to put an electrical panel in each suite. And so he did the same thing, he put them A, B, C, D. At that time, we'd never even anticipated what our actual address might be. So between the town and our plans, it seemed logical at the time. But now it's really not going to work for us, and it's really not very logical. So we have, in the building presently, we have 2 distinct tenants on the first floor. We have 3 distinct tenants on the second floor. On the second floor, we actually have 4 distinct tenants on the second floor, excuse me. So in my architectural firm, I'll be located in the building. We actually have 2 firms, my business, Craig Auto Architect Incorporated, and then we have a LCM Design Group Incorporated. And that's a buddy of mine who we share office space, we share expensive, it helps out, but he has his own distinct firm, I have mine. The same thing is the case with the attorneys who are in the second floor on the back of the building. Eric Bland has his firm, and Chris Moran has his firm. They're both separate, completely independent firms, but they share space, again, to share expenses, and there's some synergy in having folks together. So we have, and by the way, on the first floor, we have a space in the front that's for the restaurant, and on the right side, facing the side, is a retail space that is currently going to be occupied by 1 tenant, but it could, in fact, be split into 2, and we designed it that way, so that there's a door entrance on the left and there's a door entrance on the right, and you could put a wall down the middle, and you could split that up into 2 tenants should we ever need to do that. So the building could eventually house as many as 7 different tenants. Right now, we have 6. So with A, B, C, D, and that's the extent of it, of how far it goes at this point, we don't have enough letters assigned. What we're hoping to do is do like a regular multi-story building and have the first floor assigned, as John stated, 100. It starts with 100, and second floor starts with 200. So when you walk in the lobby and there's a directory, instead of it saying Craig Auto Suite D, which is sort of where is Suite D, it says Craig Auto Suite 201 or 200. Same thing with the Bland's office and Moran's office. It would be 201, 202, 203. Downstairs, the restaurant would be 100, the retail space would be 101, and should that retail space ever be split into 2 spaces, it would be 101 and 102. We have mailboxes that will be in the lobby that each one of them will have a number on them if this should get reassigned. And we have the opportunity to add mailboxes or add numbers if we need to in the future. So bottom line is the staff and myself, nobody did anything wrong, but a year and a half ago when the plans were designed and each suite and electrical panel was lettered ABCD, we had no idea that would eventually translate into the actual address of each of our suites. So right now, we're already very limited. Eric Bland's office is in Suite C, but so is Chris Moran's office. It's also in Suite C. Well, how are you going to distinguish that when the mail comes or even when the 911 call comes in? And all kinds of, and when, visitors, just meetings come up. Same thing with my suite. So I'm here requesting this appeal because we need to assign a better addressing system for this specific building. And it's better for 911 service. It's better for the mailman service to have these numbers rather than the letters.
What is the address?
105 West Main Street.
If I could just make one comment to respond to Mr. Otto. Each individual business doesn't get their own address.
Right.
If they're individual businesses within a office suite, they're part of that office suite.
So we address the building,
We address
and then each unit gets a
Each
separate
not each unit.
suite unit
each
number internally.
Individual office suite, but if you have 2 businesses operating within one suite, we don't give 2 addresses for
Right.
each business in there, because that would be impossible to keep up.
Well,
Businesses may change, like you said, it may change over time.
And the addresses were assigned on February 28th, 2022. Plain as day in an email to Mr. Robbie Wilkins. And come back a year later and want to change it. That's where I have some heartburn at it. Because you knew at the beginning what they were going to be. You knew what the space was going to be because it says restaurant, retail, architect, and an attorney. And it gives them 105 West Main Street, Suite A through D.
February was over a year ago. As we're approaching moving in the building, we realized that that doesn't work.
At that same time, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, services were set up for water meters, if I'm not mistaken, and it was relayed to Dominion as well for the power.
You're exactly right. Everything can change. Everybody can be notified to make this change should that occur. It's paperwork. I know it's a hassle for folks, but it's something that's going to affect us and our building and each one of our tenants forever. We all have 10-year leases signed for this building, so for 10 years we're going to have an address that we're not satisfied with and that doesn't really represent where each of us are. Chris Moran's address will be 105 Suite D. Eric Bland's address will be 105 Suite D. How do you find that when you're in looking at a directory? So the retail space could be Suite. If the retail space right now is Suite B, it's Suite B, and it's split in half, then it can't have Suite B and C because C and D is already occupied, so it'll be Suite C and then it'll be Suite E. And upstairs could be Suite C and Suite F or something like that. It makes no sense for a two-story building when you walk in the building and see a directory or have an elevator or need some direction. It makes no logical sense. It doesn't make sense to 911 either when they're trying to find someone in case there's an emergency. So it just doesn't work.
I think your answer would be you do an internal directory. You can have an internal directory in that building, like in most buildings you go in, courthouse, administration building, there's a directory there. You can name those things BB, B1, B2, B3. We have set them up consistent with what's next door and other buildings on Main Street. And we have a policy of adopting the county's policy of how these addresses are supposed to be made.
Back in February, had we known where we are now, we would have asked for those to be 100, 101, 200, 201. It'd be the same thing as asking that now. I mean, whether it was done a year ago or whether it was done now, I can't imagine that they would have denied that if I'd have said, no, we don't want ABCD, we need 100, 101. I would assume town staff would have said, oh, okay, well, then let's write it down that way.
Well, it's our understanding looks like 5 other multi-tenant buildings on Main Street that are lettered suites. Is that correct? I think it's consistent with other buildings up and down the street.
Are they multi-story? Are they 2 stories? I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah, Aladea's especially. So.
Thank you, by the way.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah, based on our discussion and the information we've been provided, I think the addresses as they currently are were assigned consistent with the Lexington County policy. They've been confirmed through the E911 verification system and consistent with other buildings up and down Main Street. So based on all of that and our discussion this morning, I make a motion to deny the appeal.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is all opposed?
Oh, no, sorry, I was in.
It is unanimous. Thank you, sir. Item number 2, bonded plat approval for Bar Lake Phase 3C, G, and J. John?
Power Engineering has requested bonded plat approval for Bar Lake Phase 3C, G, and J. This phase consists of 61 lots on 17 acres. Staff is requesting the commission review and approve the plat for this phase due to the ongoing concerns about the pace of the subdivision amenity development. We've had this discussion many times before. Once this phase is complete, there will be approximately 30 more lots to be bonded in the subdivision. And there are representatives from, I believe, Stanley Martin Homes here to give you an update on where they are.
Please come forward and give us just a quick status update. Please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Shane Alford. I'm the land director for Stanley Martin Homes. I had the pleasure of coming before you at the end of last year to give you an update on the Bar Lake amenity site at that time. We represent the home builder in the community, not the developer, but I was asked to provide my insight and information at that time, and here for you again today to give you an update on the progress out there. I'm pleased to tell you that the building itself is complete. We're waiting on the DHEC permit to operate for the water, just for that facility, and as soon as that is released, which may happen within the next couple of weeks, we'll have the water meter set and a final inspection. So as I had said back at the end of last year, I was hoping to have that property completed by the first quarter of 2023, and end of March would be that deadline. So I think we're well on our way to having that done. What will follow will be the DHEC review and approval of the pool facility. Our objective is to have that facility ready for opening for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. So we still have a couple of months left in that regard, but the building itself is complete. And I did bring photographs of the building if anyone would care to see them.
Anybody else?
If you brought photos, maybe if we can we get it on?
I don't think they got them up there.
I have them in hard copy, old school.
That's fine, just for the record, since we have heard this many times, just to.
May I approach?
Yes.
I will say that I have personally been in that neighborhood last Thursday and rode through the parking lot of the amenity pool area, and it looks great. So it's there. It does exist.
Yeah.
And I would hope to invite the members of the planning commission to come visit at some point when they have time to do so. It's a lovely
Regular
facility.
basis throughout the swim season?
I will let that be discussed amongst the developer and the homeowners, but for our purposes.
I've seen it, so I've seen it in person.
And thank you for the update. I agree with Frank. It looks great. One question I do have, and I know you weren't the person with the info last time, but I know there were some concerns about the growth in the pond or the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any discussion with the developer on that?
We did have a brief conversation on it. I don't have any additional information to offer, unfortunately, at this time.
Okay.
I think that's still, like we said last time, that's going to be an issue that's going to need to be addressed at the homeowners association level with, and not through the planning commission. All right. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your right hand. It is all opposed. It is unanimous. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
John. Sir. Shane, hold on one second. There's one phase left, correct?
It's two sub-phases, probably bonded in one phase, in my understanding.
Can we just have y'all approve that at the, because that's going to be at least a year or so away, and this is all resolved at that point.
We're happy to do that. We're happy to try and get this issue behind us.
All right, let's do that. Do we need to make a motion on
I
that?
don't know what other amenities potentially offered would fall under the purview of this commission.
Yeah, I believe when we spoke, and I think I was stepping in that day, is amenities overall from the site plan, after that, it's really not left up to this body to govern, I guess. So I think if we can move this to a staff approval for the last phase would be great.
happy to do that.
I don't know if we need a motion for that or just, oh, good, yeah.
I didn't enter the record.
All right, for the record, the next and final phase will be approved at staff level and not brought to us unless there's an issue with it.
Assuming the pool is open.
Yes, assuming. I have faith that pool will be open by Memorial Day.
I don't. We've had this going on for a long time.
I do know who's managing the process of it, so. All right, item number 3, annexation of Lexington County Tax Map 559601003, located at 135 Forge Road.
Empire LLC owns approximately 3.7 acres located at 135 Furgon Road and has petitioned to annex the property. A heavy equipment repair business is located on the site. Properties in town near this one are zoned industrial and general commercial. Furgon Road is classified as a local road. Due to the surrounding conditions and the use of the property, the recommended zoning for this parcel is industrial, and the recommended classification of Furgon Road is a local road. I'm sorry?
This is in compliance with our comp plan and land use map.
Yes.
Any question? Anyone here to speak to this item?
Motion to
Have a motion?
approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. All opposed? It is unanimous. Thank you all for being here today, and at this time, Mr. Poole.
Chairman Barry, I have a few items for everybody. April 6th is going to be the kickoff to the spring concert series at the Ice House. There'll be 8 shows every Thursday until May 25th, and those are no charge. The Great Lexington Egg Hunt is ongoing. You may have received something that looks like this in the mail, or you can go on the website and pull it down. That'll let you find Easter eggs hidden in town facilities around Lexington, and then turn these back in at Town Hall, and there'll be a drawing for prizes. And those are due by April the 10th by 5 p.m. Do want to remind everybody we have a special election coming up, I believe May 2nd. So get out and vote. And then on May 13th, we will have the wine walk. I believe this is like the 13th or 14th one in a row. No, well, not in a row, because we did have some COVID cancellations, but the tickets are $30. Week of, they're going to go up to $40, and day of, they're $45. So I encourage you to get those early, and that'll be on Saturday, May 13th at the amphitheater. Thank you. There are 4 candidates. 4 candidates have registered.